Next is some Germany French fries, and subject is still got a job. Props to Billy for putting the tweet out admitting that he reported a made-up story about AEW. Very mature of him. Any news on when Billy's going to admit to making up everything else? Well, that's definitely not true. I want to ask about Miro. How does this guy still have a job? Apparently, he complained a lot backstage when he's AEW, takes digs at AEW creative and the wrestlers on social media. And if the gossip is true, he flat out said no to Tony Khan's ideas for him to return to AEW TV. So why hasn't Tony Khan fired him? Miro is clearly not willing to play ball and is no doubt being paid seven figures by the Book of the Year. So why isn't Tony Khan acting like a boss and firing him? I don't know. It's kind of it's weird he's not fired. When either he should be fired or on TV if this is the case, correct?
Yeah, I'm wondering though if remember when Miro won didn't he win a title? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The TNT belt.
Yeah, he won the TNT belt and he was really over. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
with the good promos Redeemer. And the people were really into him, and he had that aggressive style.
Yeah,
and I think he might have thought then, why am I going to give him to WWE hot? If you get him, you'll get him cold,
right?
You know. But to me, it's like, bro, wouldn't you rather save money? But
yeah, this report here says Miro has been healthy and ready to go, but there has been no update on creative discussions. Fightful has provided a further update noting that the former TNT champion has been in Bulgaria with his wife for over a month. He still has several years left on his contract after signing a 4-year extension a year or so ago. So he's there for a minute.
Yeah.
No, he's there until Tony decides he's there.
Yeah.
Next is from Captain Starburst, and this subject is question from Australia. Good day, fellas. Old school fan from Australia. Disco, I reckon you're way underrated as a wrestler. Just wondering if y'all have any great memories from wrestling in Australia, like Ring Rats or Craze fans, and thoughts on any Aussie wrestlers like Nathan Jones. We always, this from kind regards from Captain Starburst. We had always great times in Australia. Clubs were cool, girls were nice, friendly people. Conan met his wife in Australia. It's right. Like, I mean, right? Like, come on, like, so.
Bro, if it wasn't so far, that's where I'd live.
Yeah, absolutely, you're correct. I would live there too. That'd be the second. Right, I would live there if I couldn't live in the United States. Nathan Jones, one of the nicest, like for as intimidating as he looked, super nice guy and very, very intelligent. He would have conversations with you about like quantum physics and stuff. Like he was just very well read and
this
like,
guy
he knew
was
a lot of
prison and beat up a bunch of guys, and he was crazy.
Giant bank robber.
Yeah, he was a bank robber. Robbed a bank.
Bro, let me tell you how nice this guy was. So we're on this bus and we're traveling, like from city to city. I think we came Wales. No, Wales is by England. I forgot where we were traveling. Maybe he might have been on our Wales trip. And I remember we're traveling from one city to the other city, and underneath the bus, there's this door, and you put all your luggage in there usually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this guy came out, and he was taking everybody's luggage out,
Wow.
And really, really, really cool, nice guy, man. I like Nathan a lot. I'm glad he did good. Didn't he do like some good roles in Hollywood?
I think he was in Troy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
what.
Troy.
Yeah, he was in Troy. Yeah.
Brad Pitt stabbed him at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next is from Harrison Yanger, and the subject is why not Cross versus Wyatt. Okay, guys, WrestleMania 39 question. I did a Cross versus Wyatt match up had been referred to online as a dream match by many people. Seemed like a Wyatt and Bliss versus Cross and Scarlett match was likely, and Wyatt and Bliss were even teasing a reunion of shorts on TV for months. Triple H always claims to pay attention to what the fans want online, so Wyatt versus Lashley was the best option they could come up with. Cross and Wyatt both did very similar style backstage promos. They were both the type of guys you could do the wacky character stuff without burying them, and this really, really could have helped Cross. Basically what the question is, why do you think that match wasn't planned? The idea of Lesnar versus Wyatt just wasn't going to work ever, and it really seemed like Cross versus Wyatt was the way to go. Do you guys know how Cross backstage relationship with Wyatt is? Right now it seems like Cross isn't even going to be on the card. Such a shame. They're misusing. Cross does the stuff that Bray does. Great build-up content to like backstage promos and cinematic type looking stuff and everything. Is like I thought this angle's a dream match. Like is a match made in heaven. Because like you could build this thing for 6 to 8 weeks before they ever get in the ring, and it's like I don't think anybody really cares. But a lot of wrestling fans care about the match. But I think the build-up for this would be very entertaining. Obviously, what do you think?
Yeah, the build-up would be great. I'm just afraid unless the match is cinematic or booked for some crazy little spots or bumps or whatever, it could be Limburger cheese PU bad.
Right.
Bowling shoe ugly.
Yeah. Next is from Michael Kupach, and the subject is death in wrestling. Hello, gentlemen. A few years back, I attended one of Bruce Pritchard's Dirty Dozen dinners. I asked him about an idea me and my friends had a long time ago. We always wonder why they don't pay a guy $1 million to fake his own death or disappear and live in the woods for a year. Tell no one that you were doing this and make a run-in somewhere down the line. Bruce said this was the stupidest idea he had ever heard, but he wouldn't elaborate why. I think a guy faking his death and telling no one that he's alive would be a great storyline under pop. Do you agree with me, or do you agree with Bruce? And could you tell me why it wouldn't work? Thanks, Conan. Get well and stay well.
Well, it's
Bro,
illegal. Illegal to fake your death.
Okay,
I
not
don't know
even
how you're
that.
going to get past that.
Not even that. Not even that. Okay, you, bro. How much? Okay, would the pop and the amount of money it would draw be worth the guy having to fake his death for a year and just be disappear? Like who? How much would you have to pay the guy to do that?
Not only that, bro.
Yo, come on.
Imagine the heat that you would get in
Right.
social media for faking a death.
Kazoo
just to do a
that.
fuck- yeah.
Yeah. This is an interesting question. It's from M, and the subject is brutal. Question: when something is brutal, you often say brutal Bob Evans. Can you provide context, Vinny?
Oh, brutal Bob Evans is because there's this restaurant, and I think it's only in the Midwest, called Bob Evans.
There was one in Detroit by the Romulus.
There
Yeah.
used to be some.
Yes,
a couple,
yes,
a
and
couple
that's where he's from. He's from Detroit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there used to
Right.
be a couple around PA.
Oh, there were?
Yeah.
No more?
I don't think so.
It's actually a good place.
Yeah.
Another place that I went out that you don't find in California is Cracker Barrel. I like that.
It's a good place. It's a good place if you like biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
And
Next-
so he brought me there because he would order like turkey with extra gravy and he loved that plate. But so whenever something was bad, I remembered Bob Evans, so I would always say brutal Bob Evans. And then I found out there was a wrestler called Brutal Bob Evans.
Brutal Bob Evans.
Right.
From Ring of Honor, right?
Yes. Yep.
Next is from Jed Frankfurter, and the subject is Joe Calzaghe boxing. Hey, K100 crew, I was listening to the Adam Carolla podcast, and they brought up Calzaghe and his undefeated record. I was curious if you're a fan of his or what you thought of his career. He doesn't seem to get his due. He beat some great fighters. The memory I have of him was when he put on a clinic against an up-and-coming Jeff Lacey. Best friend of the show, Jed Frankfurter. I don't remember a lot about Joe Calzaghe. I'm sure you do, Conan.
Well, Joe Calzaghe was like this Welsh boxer who was incredible, and he had the I may be wrong here, but I'm almost super middleweight title for like 10 years.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
It says here
Huh?
he held multiple world championships in 2 weight classes, including unified and lineal titles at super middleweight and the Ring Magazine light heavyweight title.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was, like I said, he was this Welsh guy, and
46-0.
yeah, 46-0, and he had a really good amateur career. The first time that I ever saw him fight was against this guy from England who was like a legend back then, Chris Eubank, and that was a really, really good fight. And that's when I kind of started to keep my eye on him and to see what he was all about. Anyways, before it was all said and done, bro, he fought Jeff Lacey, okay? And I remember this fight very well. And Jeff Lacey had 2 championships and he had 1 championship. And he unified all 3. I think he's the first guy ever to unify the three titles. And Jeff Lacey was a heavy favorite, and he went in there and he did work with him. He also fought Bernard Hopkins, believe it or not. Very, very close fight. I think it was a split decision.
Yep.
He beat B-Hop.
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr.
Now, he beat Hopkins and Roy Jones Jr. both in 2008. Is that how does that reflect? Is that past those guys' prime? Jones is probably past his prime, but I don't know about Hopkins.
Yeah, I felt Hopkins was kind of done too, but he put up a good fight. I mean, Hopkins did give him a good fight. But anyways, yeah, he is very underrated, undefeated, really good boxer. You don't stay undefeated for 10 years, which I think maybe only one other guy ever did that.
He's probably the only guy retired undefeated other than Marciano and Floyd.
Champion?
Right?
Yeah, I think so. Floyd
Mayweather Jr. is undefeated, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, that's right.